Ahoy there! Welcome to the wrong side of the boat. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to take a look at doing some drum patterns on the RD-6 and playing with some scale modes. So the RD-6 has 4 different scale modes indicated by this switch right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is our standard 4 on the floor single quarter note scale mode, which is what we are used to. So I've got some patterns on my first group here and one more on our second group here. And so right now we've got a basic kick. And you can see standard quarter notes. That's scale mode 1. So let's add like a snare drum to this. Pattern 2 adds the snare drum. Pattern 3 gives me some hi-hat. Then pattern 4 gives me like a fancy fill. Then we'll just go back to pattern 3. Now pattern 5 is a duplicate of pattern 3, but I use scale mode 2 on pattern 5. So what that's going to do is each quarter note, instead of being worth 4 beats, so now each quarter note is going to be worth 8. Instead of one quarter note being worth 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, pattern 2, we have one quarter note subdivided, so one quarter note now gets 8. So one quarter note, 2 quarter notes per bar. So let's listen to bar 3 again, which is 4 beats. And then let's go to pattern 5, which is only 2 beats per bar. See how it's going twice as fast across there? And because it's going twice as fast, we can also get that hi-hat ratchet that we put on 4. So let's take a look at our hi-hat pattern there on this second scale mode. Now if we want to change this when we're in rate mode, we just change our scale mode. Let's go back to 1. And we'll hit function to lock that in. And suddenly it's going slower because now there's twice as many beats per bar. So if we want to go back, we'll just go up to 2 and lock it in again, and on the next cycle, there we are. So now if I go back to play mode, using these first 5, 1 being just the bass drum, 2 being bass and snare, 3 adding the hi-hat, 5 adding that ratchet, then 4 just being a nice little fill bar. Then we can go back to 3 as our main pattern. Occasionally drop in 4s and 5s. And this is how we get a nice little jam going. So that's how we do that. That only works to adjust your scale in write mode. And to get a similar pattern, because it's going twice as fast, you have to cut the notes down. Let's take a look at our bass drum on track 3. You see we have it on every 4 count. Now let's take a look at on pattern 5, it's only happening twice, but it sounds the same. Let's go back to play mode just to make sure. And our kick drum sounds exactly the same. So essentially, the pattern 2 is twice as fast as, or scale mode 2 is twice as fast as scale mode 1. But that's how you get some nice little ratchets going. Now, I also have scale mode 3 and 4 over here in these later two groups. So let's come over here to pattern 9. And again, it's just some kicks, but these are triplet patterns. So even though there's no swing on the RD-6, these triplet patterns give us an artificial feel of swing. So instead of being 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, 3 ta-ta, 4 ta-ta, 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, 3 ta-ta, 4 ta-ta. That's just how you count triplets. And so that's what we're going to feel here in these ladder patterns. I've got pattern or scale mode 3, which is our basic triplets here, on 9, 10, 11, and 12. So let's take a look at that. All you can hear are the kick drum on this, because that's all I have. So you can't really get a feel for swing or triplets with just a kick note. So let's add some snare. You hear how that's different than pattern 2 over here? It's the same pattern, but it feels different. So this is straight on scale mode 1, and this is with our triplet feel. A little different, huh? With that hi-hat on those upbeats, you can really feel it. Now these next patterns, 13, 14, 15, 16, I did exactly the same thing I did to compare pattern or scale modes 1 and 2. To compare scale modes 3 and 4, I did exactly the same thing. So 13 is the same as pattern 9, just the kick drum, but you see it's happening twice as fast. Because just like scale mode 2 is twice as fast as scale mode 1, scale mode 4 is twice as fast as scale mode 3. I hope this is making sense. But as you see, as we flip back and forth between 9 and 13, you'll see how it goes from slow on 9 to fast on 13, but it doesn't feel any different. So let's go to 10, add the snare. 14 will have the snare too, but it's going twice as fast. 11 is slow. 15 is fast. But you see how they feel the same. But it allows you to do things like those ratchet patterns and change things up. So let's go to pattern 12. And you'll see 16 as a slightly different cymbal pattern. Because we can do those ratchets when we're going twice as fast. So, 4 scale modes, 1 and 2 are straight time, 3 and 4 are syncopated, or swing, or triplets, depending on what you want to call it. And just like we did before, if we want to change this, we just got to go into write mode, be sure we're on the pattern we want to change, figure out which scale mode we want to change it to, and just hit the function. If we want to make this straight again. It's that easy. And we can change it back just like that. We'll go back to play mode, and that'll let us do a little jamming. Now just know that bouncing between the triplet feel and straight feel feels a little funky. So if I jump down here, even to our fill bar, you feel how it changes up, and we go from straight time to swing time. It's kind of sudden and abrupt, huh? So just keep that in mind as you're writing your patterns. But as long as you are in a fun beat that you're happy with, and as long as you keep it in the scale mode, we can come over here into write mode, and we can change up the pattern as we go. And there you have it. Some jamming on the RD-6. It's not really that hard. You've just got to be really familiar with what mode you're in and which instrument you're on and kind of understand what you're looking at and know which function you're in. But it's a lot of fun. This thing has a lot of potential. And in the future, I'll show you how to use track mode, which we haven't gotten to yet. But this thing is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you are too. So until next time, thanks for joining me on the wrong side of the boat.